Hello, guys. My name is Nicholas Earle, joined here by my brother Tim. Welcome to Baseball Talk with the Earle brothers. Kind of weird, but brand new channel. We're going to talk baseball on this channel from a non-betting perspective. We're going to talk power rankings. We're going to break down different teams. We're going to break down different players. We're going to do different rankings. I don't know, things along those lines.
Just basically,
baseball,
a bunch of baseball content that has nothing to do with betting wise.
There you go.
The analytics side of it, all the numbers that are fascinating to us in terms of statistics,
prospects as well. When a new player comes up and he's going to be pitching, making his debut, or wherever, come here to this channel. You'll have a breakdown for that player. Whenever I see a certain player making his debut, I will record a video for that player. So I got to take a look at that stuff as well. But figured what better way to start it than a video that we know everybody in the comment section will hold hands, sing kumbaya, and have no disagreements because we're doing power rankings.
Yeah, right. Yeah, power rankings.
We're going to do power rankings here. And Tim, you want to get it started with our first team?
Yes. So we're going to start from 30 to 1. And obviously, last place, worst team in baseball is the Philadelphia Phillies. No, I'm kidding. Nick, I mean, I feel like this one was pretty obvious to start it off. I got the Colorado Rockies. They are 8-40. They are 6 games worse than the next worst team. I don't really think we're playing rocket science. I think it would be contrarian to say anybody else is the worst team in baseball. Colorado is by far the worst team in baseball.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have them as well. When you look at pitching, you expect this from a Colorado team. Last in ERA, last in WHIP, last in strikeouts per 9, 29th in errors. But usually when you play on the moon, though, your offense should be pretty good.
No.
27th in runs scored per game, 29th in batting average, 28th in OPS, 25th in home runs, 28th in stolen bases. The offense is not existent as well.
Not to mention they are 30th in WRC plus in both right-handed and left-handed hitting.
They're the
against lefties and against righty. They're dead last in baseball in both categories.
And they're outpacing the 2024 Chicago White Sox to be the worst team in all of baseball.
And they're outpacing the Oakland Athletics from 2023 of the worst run differential in MLB history.
So yeah, this was pretty simple. I think we'll have we'll have disagreements on the next few spots though. I don't think we really agreed on too many spots like directly. Now a lot of them I'll have one higher, one lower, stuff like that. We'll flip flop a bunch of them. But you ready to move on to the next teams here, Tim?
Yes,
let's get to 29.
Because we are going to be differing here. Because I have the Chicago White Sox in this one. I know you have Pittsburgh. Chicago is 15-35 this year. They came into the year dead last in my power rankings. Actually, no, I think they came in the year 29th because I had Colorado as the worst team in baseball.
I did not.
I did. And when it came to that, that's kind of a spot that I strongly believe that they were the worst team in baseball was Colorado. And I'm going to stick with that. But Chicago is the worst. It's the second worst team in baseball. I got them at 29th.
Yeah, for me, it's Pittsburgh. And I know it may seem a little contrarian. Because spoiler, I think we flip-flopped for 28 because I have White Sox too. For me, it was the Pittsburgh Pirates have Paul Skeens. What else? What else? O'Neal Cruz. Okay, they have O'Neal Cruz.
What did the Chicago White Sox have?
They have a bright young future. Like I like some of the young guys that they have. We'll talk about them in the next for me in the next section when I talk about my 28th best team. For me, it's the Pirates at 29, though. Last in runs scored per game, last in OPS, 29th in home runs, 28th in batting average. What does this team do well? Well, their ERA is pretty good. They're 17th in baseball ERA, 15th in WHIP. But when you're being carried by Paul Skeens, congratulations. My bad. Andrew Heaney will be a really nice trade away piece.
Andrew Heaney had another good game today as we're talking about it because I know he came into the day with now his ERA is sub-3, so he's been a solid piece for that rotation.
Yeah, but when you're the biggest headlines about your team so far this year is whether or not you should trade Paul Skeens, I'm going to have you really, really low.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to be, yeah. But as you mentioned earlier, we flip-flopped for it. I took the Pittsburgh Pirates as the third worst at 28. They have the fourth worst record in baseball. It was just hard for me to actually – and the only reason they're tied with my number 27 team, it was just hard for me to drop a certain team below all of that because I don't believe that they're like the bottom 3 in the league. But we'll talk about who I think is number 27 next. Pittsburgh is 17-33. They're not good. once again, you mentioned they have Paul Skeens, and that's pretty much it on the offense. On the pitching side. Offense, nothing's really going right for them. They're one of the worst offensive teams in baseball. They're 27th WRC plus against lefties, and they're 29th WRC plus against righties. So.
Yeah. I'm not trying to polish a turd here. The White Sox are still the White Sox.
Yes.
They're still one of the worst teams in baseball, and I feel like we're splitting atoms here for these two teams. Really, I think the Pirates and the White Sox are closer than people think. And yes, you can exchange them 29-28. At the end of the day, I don't think people care. I just want to take a stance that I think the Pirates have a better opportunity to be last in baseball than the White Sox do personally.
I agree. We'll go and it was tough for me to put this team at 27. I took the Baltimore Orioles at 27. Boy, are they off to a bad start this year. Because 16-32. I thought they were going to be competitive for the division, and boy, was I wrong. And I'll own it. I was wrong about them. It happens. That's why I dropped them as far as I did, because they opened up at 7th in my power rankings. And I was way wrong on them. And that pitching rotation, besides Saganu, who's been decent, has not been good. That team, although they hit against righties, they're not hitting right now.
Yeah.
They're not hitting right now. They're not good. They're god awful against lefties. They're 58 WRC plus, which they're only ahead of the Colorado Rockies against lefties. So not good. Baltimore 27 for me.
Yeah, I'm low on Baltimore too. We'll talk about that next one for me. For me, Miami, they're a rebuilding baseball team. And one thing I will give them credit for is their offense has been better than I thought it would be this year, because I said they were going to be one of the worst offenses in baseball. They've proved me wrong. 19th in runs per game, 11th in batting average, 18th in OPS, 20th in home runs. They're not the worst offense in baseball. That's probably the Pirates or the Rockies. Their pitching is shockingly where it's been terrible. 29th in ERA, 28th in WHIP, 30th in quality starts. Sandy's not been the same. And this is they're still a bad baseball team. They're a scrappy bad team, but they're still a bad team. So I feel like we're spending way too much time on these lower ones here.
Yeah, for sure.
The Marlins are a bad team, but I think the Orioles are slightly better.
Here, we're gonna kind of skip through this one pretty quickly because we flip-flopped them. I'm on the Marlins, you're on the Orioles for 26th.
Can I give a spiel on the Orioles though?
Go ahead.
I have them super low, and here's the thing for me. What are they doing with their starting rotation? Like, that was the one big thing that I mentioned heading into the season that I thought was
they're doing nothing with it.
And the reason why I put Baltimore above Miami is I think the ceiling is higher for Baltimore personally than it is Miami. I don't think it's particularly close. Like I think at the end of the season that Baltimore should have at least a 5-game lead on Miami for record-wise overall.
That's fair.
Like I think that they'll be the better overall team, and it was close enough for me to justify putting them where they are. So I have the Baltimore Orioles 26th. I still think they're not a good team, but I think that potentially they could be from now till the end of the season. I think they have the opportunity to move up the most of my spots.
I agree. I agree with that. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next one, which is number 25. I got the Los Angeles Angels at here, and you've got the Washington Nationals. Angels are currently 22 and 25 as we're recording this. Yes, I look at this, and there's two teams who currently have a worse record that I have higher in my power rankings because I was higher on those other two teams to begin the year. Angels without Trout, you are seeing a resurgence of Tyler Ward, who's been great. Taylor Ward, sorry, and Zach Neto, who's been great. But on the pitching side, I haven't really seen anything I'm very impressed with. This is an Angels team, although I'll give them credit. As we're recording this, they just swept the Dodgers a couple days ago. Very, very impressive there. But I did have them at number 25 because I'm not going to bump them up a lot because of that.
Yeah, for me, the Nationals, I was very low on the Nationals heading into the season. I think fun team does not mean good team.
No.
The Nationals are a very fun team. James Wood, very fun prospect. CJ Abrams, very fun prospect. Mackenzie Gore, he's a lot of fun to watch. That bullpen might be the worst in baseball, if not is the worst in baseball. And I think that's going to cost them a lot of games, and we've seen them so far. And yes, I have the Angels higher than the Nationals, even though technically the Nationals have a better record.
No, they don't.
They're 22 and Nope, they're 22 and 27.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Never mind then. Yeah. No, I'm not high on the Nationals. I think the Angels are a better team, slightly, than the Nationals, but come back in a year or two, that won't be the case.
I agree. The Nationals definitely have the brighter future.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Oh, absolutely. If we had brightest futures power rankings, the Nationals might be a top 10 team.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that one. And then we go to number 24. I got the Tampa Bay Rays, and then you got the Angels. The homeless Rays. They're just not a team that I was high on coming into the year. Once again, I know they have a better record than two other teams that I have higher in my power rankings. Just because record does not mean power rankings. I want to preface that. They're 23 and 26. This is a team that has decent pieces, but they're no big names.
It's never like that.
But it's never like that with the Rays. Whenever they get a big name, they trade it away, or they don't sign it to a big contract. Or when they do sign it to a big contract, they go to jail for other stuff. So, which that's ironically their biggest contract in team history. But Tampa Bay, I have at 24.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Angels at 24. This is still not a good baseball team. I don't think we're splitting atoms there, especially when you're in the bottom 10 of the power rankings. I have a couple controversial ones probably in the bottom 10 of the power rankings. This is definitely not one. They're still a bad team.
Oh, yeah, they're not good. So I agree with you on that one. We actually agree on the next one.
Yes, we do.
Oakland Athletics at 23. Man, I wish they were a little bit better because they started off the year really, really good. And they had a nice little winning streak and then kind of fallen off a cliff since. So I'm not really too happy with how they've kind of gone since then. They are now 5 games under 500, but this is still a team with a very bright future, a team that I think is going to be really good once they get to Vegas. But I like Oakland here at 23.
Yeah, no, this is another example, and I was higher on them heading into the season. I thought they were a nice little long shot if you're looking at division winners, stuff like that. But good team or a fun team does not mean good team sometimes.
Correct.
They are a very fun team. I cannot wait to see how this team develops, and hopefully when they're in Vegas, they actually spend some money.
I mean, they spent some money over the offseason, which was nice to see.
Because they were forced to.
Yeah, they were forced
to. There would have been a grievance filed against them if they didn't. But that's beyond the point. I want to see the way this athletics team develops as well. Good, fun team, not overly great team right now, though.
There you go. 22, I got the Washington Nationals. You got Tampa. Kind of flip once again. I like how a bunch of our teams are kind of all in the same area.
It's a lot of mid.
It's a lot of we're not too far off. Like 3, I think, is the most amount of spots off from a team. We're kind of have the similar thinking. I'm higher on this Nationals team than you are. I know I am.
6 is the highest of the difference. We'll talk about that team when we get.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got that one now. Once again, this is we're splitting atoms. These are teams that aren't really all that important. I have the Nationals at 22.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. I mean, I felt like they were the better of the bad teams. They've played a lot of home games. That's one thing. But they've actually had some decent success on the road, the Rays, which I can understand that when you have that type of home situation, you go out on the road, you play decent baseball. They're still a fun little squad with the Rays. The big question is, and they can easily drop for me here, do they trade Brendan Lau at the deadline? Do they trade Yandy Diaz at the deadline? Do they trade Rasmussen? Like, there's some players that are getting close to arbitration years and things along those lines. And we know what happens with the Rays when they get to arbitration years. They trade them for younger, more controllable talent. So we'll see what happens there. They're an interesting squad. I think they're the better of the bad teams.
Yep, that's fair. I don't know. The next one we're gonna have a little bit of disagreement on because I have your team a little bit higher, and I think that's the team that you were mentioning earlier.
No, actually.
Oh, sorry.
There's 2 of them. One I have way lower than you, and then another one I have way higher than you.
I got Toronto at 21. This is not a team that I was high on coming into the year, and they've kind of been mid. They're 23 and 24 as we speak. But I guess for that division, that's not terrible.
No.
I'm just not high on them. Obviously, they're 21, so bottom third of the league for a reason for me. Vladdy's finally starting to hit. Bichette's not. Santander is not hitting. So a lot of their pickups that they're tried is not working. I have them at 21.
I have the Texas Rangers at 21. This is not a team I was very high on heading into the year. And for me, what's holding me back on this Texas Rangers team into believing in them at all, yeah, their rotation's been good, but I mean, it's a very injury-prone rotation. When you look at DeGrom, when you look at Molly, Eovaldi's been consistent as it gets. That's fine. For me, it's where's this team offensively? 26th in runs scored, 26th in batting average, 26th in OPS. I don't believe in this offense at all. And here's the thing: is like I would love to be like, oh yeah, this is a great offense. It's going to bounce back. Is it?
It's not.
Is it? Marcus Semien's fallen off. Adolis Garcia's, I think, past his prime. Like, Seager's struggled. Like, this is a Rangers team that offensively, that's what dropped him here. Because if we're looking at pitching staff, they're a top 10 team in baseball right now. Because their bullpen's not been disappointing and their starting rotation hasn't gotten hurt yet.
Yeah.
But with that being said, their offense has tanked their ranking for me. I have them probably lower than most, but I got the Rangers at 21.
I don't hate it. But I'm going to go to number 20, which I have the Milwaukee Brewers. You dropped the Toronto Blue Jays to 20, or you have them a little bit higher than me.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee is a team that I said I liked the Cubbies coming into the year in that division. I was not super high on Milwaukee. 24 and 26 this year as we're recording this video. And I believe they're third place in the division. In a division that Chicago's kind of running right now. Even Cincinnati's ahead of them by a half a game. This is a Brewers team that I could easily see selling at the deadline. One of the big pieces that they could sell, Freddie Peralta. I feel like that's going to be a very big starting pitcher come trade deadline that a lot of teams are going to be interested in. I have the Milwaukee Brewers as a sell team.
Yeah, I mean, that can easily drop their power rankings. I have them one position higher. We'll talk about them in a minute for me. They're definitely a subtraction risk for having this high in the power rankings for me. I'm on the Blue Jays, and then you can make the very same argument with the Blue Jays and you can with the Brewers. Does Chris Bassett go at the deadline? Does Bo Bichette go at the deadline? Does Boston go at the deadline? Does Barrios go at the deadline? There's a few guys. They can gut that entire starting rotation.
And they should.
And here's the thing is they'll have so much money coming off the books at the end of this year. They could be really interesting. Even after giving Vladdy that huge contract next offseason, they can definitely be a team that's in on some players, which they are always in on players.
And they never get them because the taxes in Toronto are just stupidly high.
Yeah, but for me, the Toronto Blue Jays are what I thought they were going to be heading into the season.
Mid.
500 team that's going to hang around and maybe flirt with the wild card spot. They're 2.5 games behind the Guardians right now.
Okay, that's fair. 19. I have the Cincinnati Reds. Once again, just a team that I was meh on to start the year. I said that they were about a year away from being a true contender, and I still believe that. This is a Reds team that is, one game under 500 at the moment.
Yeah.
They're in striking range. I will say they're 4.5 games back for a wild card spot. This is a team that's in striking range, and I strongly believe that this team is going to be better next year when they have a little bit more. But this is a Reds team that is going to be just fine. But I have them at 19. I have them mid.
That Reds team has pissed me off so much. I got the Brewers at 19. And this is just one of those teams that I believe in a little bit. And I think if they don't sell at the deadline, I think this team could be one that moves up a decent amount. Because I don't think we've seen the best of Brewers baseball yet.
We have not.
And this is still a team that I think can compete for the division at the end. I was a little bit higher on heading into the season because you can doubt them on paper all day long, but they've proven us wrong the last 2 years.
Oh, for sure. I was on them last year.
Yeah, they're the Guardians of the National League. Like they're a team
that's a great comparison.
I'm much higher on the Guardians than I am the Brewers, though.
I know.
And they've given me a reason to be. I need to see a little bit more from the Brewers, but once we do, they will move up in my rankings.
There you go. Number 18, and I'm pretty sure that nobody's going to disagree with me on this one. I have the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with you on it.
They need to show me just a little bit more because they are now even 500, which even 500, they're about midway through the league. That's where I see them right now. They have some pieces coming back that I think can really benefit them. Just, if you get a Strider that can go out and pitch solid every 5 days, I think that's going to be a big help. But at this time, I just don't see the I don't like the Braves at the moment any higher than 18.
I have a bold take for the Braves, but I'll save that for when we get to when I have them in my power rankings. So we'll take a look at Atlanta a little bit later with that. For me, it's the Cincinnati Reds. They've been incredibly frustrating. They're slightly above the Brewers right now just because I think they've played slightly better baseball, but it's still not very good. They're just a frustrating team right now for me. They have so much talent. I think this is definitely a team that can move up as well. And I think the team the next two teams I have could definitely fall, along with my 13 team. I think could definitely fall. But this is a Reds team I think can move up as we go month by month with these power rankings.
They're definitely a team that has a decent future. 17, we both agree. St. Louis Cardinals. This is a Cardinals team that is come out of nowhere. Like, we were not high on them coming into the year, and all of a sudden they are playing some really good baseball. But I can't jump right on them. Like, they are 4 games over 500, but could they have cut that lightning in a bottle a little bit too early? This is still a Cardinals team that I think lacks pitching, although I like Liberatore. I think he's doing a little bit better. But this is, once again, a team that I don't know if I could trust all that much, and I'm not going to. I'm going to keep them at 17. If they continue to prove me wrong, good for them. I would like to see them prove me wrong. But right now, they're 17.
To me, they're a mid team that are overachieving. That's all it is for the Cardinals right now, and they could definitely prove me wrong. And as you mentioned, I like Matthew Liberatore. I want to see Quinn Matthews in this rotation. I want to see McConnell in this rotation as well. A couple of young guys that they have in their minor leagues. So that's something I want to see as well with the St. Louis Cardinals team going forward. I want to see them get a little bit younger. I want to see Victor Scott play more. He's somebody that I have my eye on. And I want to see more out of this Cardinals team. But they're off to a good start. I'll give them that.
There you go. I'm going to be going after the Houston Astros next. I did not put my name in there for the Houston Astros. Cool. 16 is the Houston Astros for me. Once again, I was higher on some other teams coming into the year, and the Houston Astros, I just don't think are a team that's worth going after right now. I like Hunter Brown. He has been a Cy Young contender going into yesterday. I believe he was second in Cy Young odds. He got hit up a little bit yesterday, which was unfortunate to see. But this is an Astros team that's 1 game over 500. And I'm not going to buy into them just yet. This team looks like a shell of itself. Altuve's not hitting. When your 2 best hitters right now are Jeremy Pena and who was it? Jeremy Pena. There was somebody else that was actually hitting. Isaac Paredes.
Oh yeah.
When those 2 guys are your best hitters right now, that's concerning. I got you at 16.
Call me a hater on this team. I'm not high on this Royals team. I'll give them one thing though. That is an elite starting rotation.
I really do like their rotation. That's one thing I do like.
They're a Bobby Witt injury away from being the worst offense in baseball.
I agree.
It's unbelievable how much they rely on Bobby Witt. And, I mean, this is a team that's 27th in baseball in runs scored. They're 25th in OPS. They're dead last in home runs hit. This is a team with no pop, no offense, and carried by their pitching staff. And I think they're a light version of the Mets right now. Now, obviously, the Mets have a better lineup, but just the offense is not clicking at the moment. Once that lineup clicks, that's a far and away better team. I'm just not as high on the Royals as a lot of people were. And I said they weren't going to make the playoffs heading into the year. They're in the playoffs right now. 4 teams in the AL Central are in the playoff spot right now because they get to play the White Sox. But that's beyond the point. I do not believe in this Royals team other than the rotation. I love that rotation. Cole Reagans, love him. Seth Lugo, I see some regression coming his way, and I believe he's hurt. So is Reagans at the moment. Both of them are on the 15-day IL. That's somebody to keep an eye on for. Noah Cameron is someone I'm going to say keep an eye on for the Kansas City Royals in that rotation. He's going to be good. But for me, that offense it's just not good enough for me to have any higher than 16.
That's fair. For me, number 15 is the Texas Rangers. I have them a little bit higher, and I know you don't like them as much, but this is a Texas Rangers team that I think is solid enough. And once their offense comes around, because Seager's hurt, I do think you got some pieces that are not going to their full potential, and I think you're going to start seeing some players go to their full potential. So I'll buy in a little bit on them. Give me the Texas Rangers. I have them a step above the Houston Astros.
I have the Boston Red Sox here, and they're definitely a team that can move up, but this team's been frustrating this year. They should be way better than their record at the moment, which I believe they are equal 500. They are better than an average baseball team, this Boston Red Sox team. I truly believe that. And for me with this Red Sox team, it's just one of those teams that just I don't think has got it going yet. I think they can definitely be a top 10 team in baseball. I think that's what their ceiling is. But when it comes to this, there we go, perfect. This is a team that right now is just an average baseball team.
Yeah, that was weird. All my Google tabs just completely crashed out on me, which is weird, but it is what it is. So I lost all the things I had. Anyways, we'll keep on rolling. Top 15, we got to the 14. I got the Minnesota Twins, which, boom, this was a big move up for me because I had them like 26 or something in my last power rankings, and they went on a huge run. Including, although I do believe they just got swept in the doubleheader today. Guardians won the game. One game. Nope, they split. So they split the doubleheader today. But this has been a Guardians team that's been, a Twins team that's been red hot as of late. I had to move them on.
Yeah, for me, it's the Astros. I know they're not the scary Astros that we've seen in years past, but I mean, this feels like this team is just I think we've seen this the last couple of years. They're just sitting there, they're lurking. They're one of those teams where we're gonna be like, oh, this is not the same Astros, it's not the same Astros, and then bam, it's the middle of September and they're 5 games up for the division.
I don't see that happening, but
I don't know if we can go that far this year, but this team ain't dead.
Nope.
And they're still a top 15 team in baseball.
That's why I kept them at 15. All right, 16 because I could not drop them any further.
Yeah, no, you can't have them any lower than that. For me, I still am somewhat of a believer in this Astros team, as a lot of people are not. I do like this Astros team. So
there you go. I know I'm a lot higher on one team than you, Nick, because I got the Kansas City Royals at 13. Once their pitching comes back, so Reagans and Lugo come back, this team will be even stronger. I still really, my battery's about to die. I still really like this Royals team. They're a team that I'm going to be high on for a while. I have them making the playoffs. I had a ticket for them to win the division. The thing is, they're actually getting more hitting than just Bobby Witt this year. Because we are seeing some power from Vinny Pasquantino, and we've seen Melcar Garcia hit for average, and Kyle Isabel has been hitting for average too. So we are seeing a little bit more consistently offensively from those guys. So it's more than just Bobby Witt. But yes, Bobby Witt is having a MVP-esque type of season. Although only 5 home runs, 305 average. But I still think he's going to be one of the best young stars.
Yeah, no, I'm selling that take there for the Royals there for you, personally. But hey, that's why we each have our own power rankings. For me, it's the Twins. I think this Twins team can be really good, but also this was one of the toughest teams for me to rank personally, because I said this preseason. They have, I think, the widest range of outcomes for any team in baseball. They could completely miss the playoffs and be done by at least 10 games. They can win the World Series.
They could.
Because that rotation is so good.
Yes.
That bullpen is so good.
Yep.
And that lineup could be so good. They can all get injured, though. But, I mean, when you look at the back end of that rotation, that bullpen, with Funderburk and with Griffin Jacks, Cole Sands, Yohan Duran, that's a dirty back end of the bullpen. And if the Twins wanted to be a seller this year, woof, they can get a nice return for that bullpen. That rotation, I mean, Pablo Lopez, Bailey Ober, Joe Ryan can all be awesome. I'm very high on Zebby Matthews, somebody who is going to be a solid back end of the rotation guy. David Festa, I like him as well. Chris Paddock has pulled a really nice season out of his ass, it feels like.
After having a very shitty start to the year.
Oh yeah, no, it was really a couple starts, but yeah. This Twins team was one of the toughest teams for me to rank, because I think their range of outcomes, power rankings wise, I think they can drop all the way to 25 by the end of the year. They can be number 1 at the end of the year.
They could. I agree with you. Let's keep on rolling. Number 12, I have the Boston Red Sox. Yes, I have them ahead of Kansas City, who's 5 games over, and the Boston Red Sox are even money. This is a Red Sox team that I don't feel like they fully have gotten it yet, and when they do, not to mention they're dealing with some injuries. So once they get fully healthy again, this is a Red Sox team that I still believe can win the division. They're only 4.5 games behind the Yankees, and I believe they have a series against them soon. No, they have a series against Baltimore soon. That should be some wins. But I do have the Red Sox at number 12.
I got the Atlanta Braves at number 12, and I think this team could be, when we're doing our power rankings at the end of the year, I think this can be a top 5 team in baseball still. Yeah. They have players coming back, and this ready for my bold take time, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna come ready, because they had their game postponed today when we're recording, May 21st. So start May 22nd, and we'll come back May 22nd to the All-Star game. The Braves will have the best record in baseball. From now until the All-Star game, the Braves will have the best record in baseball, and they'll be within 3 games of the division.
Let's look. And I don't hate your look at that. They have one more game against the Nationals. San Diego, Philly, Boston, Arizona, San Fran, Milwaukee, Colorado, Mets, Miami, Mets, Philly, Anaheim, Baltimore, Oakland, St. Louis. That's not an easy schedule.
This is a good Braves team, though.
It is a good Braves team. They're even 500.
I think for the June power rankings, they're going to be a top at least 10 team for me.
They could be. They very realistically can be. And that's one of our big ones, is I have them at 18. Because I want them to prove to me more. But they can.
You don't want them to do that as a Mets fan.
No, you don't want to. But yeah. We'll move on to number 11. I have the Cleveland Guardians. I took them. This is a Cleveland team that's 4 games under 500. Over 500. And the fact that I took them higher than the Royals should say something to you. Because they are below the Royals right now. But this is a Cleveland team that has more potential. They're actually, hitting this year. Although, minus 17 run differential. But that's just because of a couple blowouts. And they don't blow teams out. They play close games. But I like Cleveland just outside of my top 10.
Yeah, I'm for me, it's the Diamondbacks. I've been very frustrated with the Diamondbacks personally, because I had them as a top, I want to say 6 team heading into the year, because they were a team that won the World Series or won the National League 2 years ago and were basically a tiebreaker away from making the playoffs again last year, and having a situation where they could have made another run. And I think we're talking about the Diamondbacks differently then. I think this offense is elite. Their pitching needs help, and their bullpen needs players back. Justin Martinez and AJ Puck need to be back in the back end of this bullpen so bad. When you have players like Shelby Miller, which is fine, Ryan Thompson, which is fine, you have Ginkel, which is fine, you need Puck. You need Martinez back in that bullpen, though. But I think that this Diamondbacks team could still slug their way to a playoff spot.
Fair enough. To the top 10. I got the Seattle Mariners. This is first place team in the West, 8 games above 500. Arguably the best starting rotation in baseball. Even with all the injuries, they have still been a solid enough pitching staff, and they have been hitting. They've been hitting. That's a big key, is you're starting to see some of their guys actually start to hit, which is great, because last year, if they were able to hit average through the league, they were going to be one of the best teams in baseball. Instead, they were the best pitching staff, and they missed the playoffs. You could say the same thing last year with Arizona. They were best hitting, and they missed the playoffs. Number 1 in pitching, number 1 in hitting, both missed the playoffs last year. Crazy. But Seattle finally hitting. Love to see it. Top 10 team.
And I'm actually higher on Seattle than you are, apparently, because I have them next for the next slide. But give me guard ball here. This is where the Guardians come in for me, and I think this is a team that can move up as well, because I think this Guardians team is one of the most underappreciated teams in baseball. They just have that style of baseball that is just so much fun to watch. It's not the sexy names. Jose Ramirez is one of the most underrated players in baseball.
Love him.
I think he's the best third baseman in baseball. I don't think it's close.
I agree.
And he has put up MVP numbers in a league that's obviously, unfortunately, has Judge in it, which is taking MVPs from him. But I mean, he had a 40-40 year last year that
wasn't
nobody
even considered.
No, wasn't even talked about. Why? Because Ohtani got a 50 whatever and like 50-50 last year. But I mean, he's quietly put up amazing numbers. That bullpen's still one of the best in baseball. And that rotation, I think, is good enough. You see they have a negative run differential, even though they're, I think, 5 games over 500 now, because they are a team that is built to win in October. They're built to win the one-run games. Good luck getting to their bullpen. And Clase is finally starting to turn things around a little bit. Just anybody they throw that bullpen, good luck. Whether it's Manuel Clase, whether it's Hunter Gaddis, whether it's one of the many really strong arms they have in that bullpen. I'm a guard ball fan, and I think they still win the division. And I know we're very high on the team that's in first place in that division.
Yeah, we'll talk about them later.
I think they can fall the most, though. The team that.
And I will mention real quick, our 7 through 11 are all interchangeable. I feel like our 7 through 11 is all interchangeable, and then 1 through 6 is kind of interchangeable. But number 9 for me, Arizona Diamondbacks. You talked about them, that they've been a little bit frustrating. Keep in mind, Nick, they're playing in the toughest division in baseball, and look at who they've played this year. Because I believe their strength of schedule only gets it's easier than what they've faced so far.
Oh, absolutely.
They have already played 7 games against the Dodgers. They've already played both series against the Mets. They've played against the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly. They played at Arizona at San Francisco. They're about to go play at St. Louis. They've already taken care of their Yankee series. They've already taken care of a Cubs series. They've already played against the Braves. They've played against a bunch of good teams already. And keep that in mind when you see them only 3 games over 500. That was a very tough road for them so far. And their schedule gets easier. I think they climb up. I think their pitching staff gets healthy and is going to be very solid. And this offense is one of the best in baseball, led by a guy who could possibly be in the MVP race in Corbin Carroll.
Yes.
So I am all in on the Diamondbacks. I do think they're a good team.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue that they're a good team or not. For me, The Mariners are 9. And I don't know if it's a hot take, but with the Mariners, I like this Mariners team an awful lot, but I want to focus my praise to the Mariners on one specific player. I think it's hands down easily the best catcher in baseball. And I'm gonna put this out right now. If Aaron Judge doesn't exist this season, my MVP vote in the American League goes to Cal Raleigh. Look at his numbers this season. He leads the American League in home runs, I believe. His OPS is ridiculous. His numbers are awesome. And this is while putting up platinum glove defense behind the plate. Like, I would love an argument for a better catcher than Cal Raleigh. Good luck, because it doesn't exist. And you can throw Contreras at me. Cool. Cal Raleigh blows all of them away. Grant 249 batting average, but 16 home runs, 35 RBIs, and 954 OPS while playing platinum level defense. Like, he's the best catcher in baseball. I don't think it's close. And that's something I wanted to put out there. And that's potentially a video I would like to do, maybe during All-Star break or something like that, or during the offseason when we do top 10 catchers. Yeah. Cal Raleigh will be number 1 for me.
Do you want to take a guess on what his odds are to win MVP?
We can't talk about that.
Well, okay. In terms of why you think he's the best catcher, sorry. He is a little bit out, because you said without Judge, he would be the MVP.
I think without Judge, he'd be the MVP.
Bobby Witt, Bregman, Seager, Henderson, Ramirez, Guerrero, Langford, Alvarez, Rushman.
No. Rushman. Get the hell out of here with Rushman. Stop that. Was Gunnar in there too?
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Both of them are in head in terms of that stuff. So
yeah, I think it's also because he's a catcher and he plays in Seattle.
That's the big case. So, but we'll go ahead, keep moving on. San Diego Padres are my number 8, and we both agree on that one. I think they dropped just slightly. They have a couple of injuries that kind of put them down a little bit. Honestly, they're interchangeable with our next one that we have at 7. San Diego is a good team. And they definitely have the future. I could also see them falling apart. I could also see them being a seller at the deadline. I know that sounds crazy. Keep in mind, this team is having problems with money, with their owner dying, with all that stuff moving over. There's a lot of uncertainties with this team. That's why I couldn't put them any higher.
One thing I'll pump the brakes on that with is if they do sell at the deadline, it'll be for younger controllable assets. Like, it'll be not younger controllable, but like more controllable assets that are major league ready. Like, it'll be a cheaper option at for the next 2 to 3 years at a different position.
I feel like if they fall a little bit, a lot of teams could be calling up San Diego, and I could see San Diego trying to dump Tatis's contract.
No, I don't.
That's a big ass contract.
Yeah, but he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
I don't know, but
maybe we can talk about that with potential trade deadline video or something.
Yes, San Diego number 8. We both agree on number 7 and number 6. Number 7, San Fran. Honestly, interchangeable with San Diego.
No,
100%.
I think right now, if we're talking right now, I'd take the Giants over the Padres, and it's not. I don't want to say not close, but I think there's a decent amount more. Like, I think there's. I would give a decent edge to the Giants here. I think their pitching is better, even though Justin Verlander is going on the IR. They've been hitting better a little bit as of late. And I think just overall, they're the better overall team right now. Granted, the Padres are dealing with injuries a little bit, so that is a concern for them. But for me, I do think the Giants have a decent edge over the Padres. I wouldn't call them interchangeable. I would call them interchangeable. I think that the Giants are a solid 7 to the Padre 8.
I would say they're very, very close because they're both a game and a half back.
I think it's more than just splitting atoms with these two teams, honestly.
I think they're a lot closer than you think. But honestly, it doesn't matter. We have San Francisco at 8. We have San Diego at 8. We have San Diego at 8, San Fran at 7. We both have the New York Yankees at 6. And this is our top. No, our number 1 is an American League team.
There's a spoiler. So last one we haven't talked about.
I was about to say, because I was looking at it, I see a bunch of NL teams ahead of them. The New York Yankees are the second best team in the American League. And I don't think that one is close. That one I'll say I think is not close. If I had to take a team to represent the American League in the World Series this year, you got this team and the team we'll talk about, number one. And honestly, I don't really see anybody else unless Seattle can really keep up the pitching and keep up the hitting. I'm sorry. But I have the Yankees at my number 6 spot.
I mean, to represent the American League, the Yankees would probably be my pick right now because when we talk about the number one team we have in the American League, I'm not buying in on them full term. They just kind of forced my hand for it.
Yep.
This power rankings, but for me, the Yankees I think are still the team to beat in the American League. Even after not signing Juan Soto, they went out there. Bellinger's been getting better. Paul Goldschmidt's been awesome, and Max Fried's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. That rotation, other than Max Fried right now, though, is a big question mark. Luis Gil is hurt. Garrett Cole is hurt. Carlos Carrasco is DFA'd. And it's Will Warren. And it's
Luis Gil
and it's Clark Schmidt. It's a lot of question marks for me. That bullpen is pretty good, though. I will give them that.
Their bullpen's solid.
And their offense is better than I thought it would be.
Offense is number 1 in WRC plus on both sides.
Yeah, like that's been a big surprise for me this year is the offense on the Yankees, especially after losing arguably one of the best hitters in baseball to that lineup. So for me, yeah, the Yankees are 6. I think long term, I think they are the best team in the American League because I definitely could see the team we have above them in the American League dropping below them.
Yep.
But as I mentioned, they kind of forced our hands for this power rankings, but I want to drop them going forward personally. That's just me though. But right now, yeah, the Yankees are a top 6 team in baseball.
Yankees, you want to be higher up? Make a call. Hello, Miami Marlins.
Sandy.
What do you want for Sandy? There you go. And honestly, I feel like one of the New York teams should go after Sandy. But here's where I know me and you are going to disagree on a couple of these teams. Number 5, I have the Chicago Cubs. I have this team. They're 10 games over 500. They're first place in the National League Central. I just have the other teams slightly better. I have the 3 other teams in the National League, and I have that American League team up there higher. But this is a Cubs team I'm very, very high on. Don't get me wrong on them, but there's a couple teams that I like just a little bit more.
Mine's the Phillies, and I know probably I'm a little low on them. This is still a really solid baseball team. It's just I don't know if they have enough to withstand the full 162 up in the top 5 for me personally. Now, granted, I do think that them and the Mets are going to be a team that go back and forth all year long.
For sure.
Their rotation's one of the best in baseball. It's just the offense worries me at times. When Schwarber's not hitting home runs all the time, that offense can really struggle. And granted, I mean, Castellanos is not the same hitter he was years ago. Bohm is not somebody I'm particularly high on. They wanted to trade him for a reason. Harper's still Harper. He's good. Real Muto has forgotten how to hit. He's not somebody I'm a fan of at all. But that rotation's filthy. And Luzardo might be the best acquisition of the offseason at the moment, other than Max Fried. He's been awesome for the Phillies, and I think that can continue as well. He was somebody I was very high on in Miami that I wanted to see continue going like that. Unfortunately, did not want to see that with the Phillies, but I do think the Phillies are a top 5 team in baseball, though.
Oh, I agree. I do think so. And it kills me to do this, Nick, because I do think the Phillies are a top 5 team in baseball. I have them ahead of the Mets, which we have at number 4. This has just been – I had them at number 1 in my power rankings a couple weeks ago. They dropped a little bit. Ever since Alvarez and McNeil came back, this team has kind of struggled. And I'm not blaming them at all. This is still a pitching staff that has been fan-frickin-tastic, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Unfortunately, their offense has not done anything. Going into tonight, they scored 7 runs in 10 games. They need to step up the offense a little bit, which they will. Lindor will hit again. Soto will hit. I do not want to hear anything about Soto. He will hit. Give him time. I remember we were saying the same thing about Lindor when he came to the Mets. guess what? Soto's going to be just fine. Alonso, having a great year. Nimmo will get back on the horse. And they have a couple pieces coming back from injuries. I still like this Mets team. I have them at number 4.
I want to focus on this pitching staff.
Has been fantastic.
Yeah,
Griffin Canning should get Cy Young votes.
You said one of the best in baseball. They are the best in baseball. Number 1 in runs allowed per game, and combine that with the bullpen as well. Because if there's one thing David Stearns can do, is find bullpen pieces. Like, and keep in mind, Frankie Montas has not thrown a pitch for the Mets so far this year. Neither is Sean Manaea. And also, AJ Minter's out for the year.
Yep.
And this bullpen.
Danny Young is too.
Danny Young's been whatever. They've replaced him with Castillo and Genesis Cabrera. Like I said, David Stearns can go out there and find pitching. Yeah. And also that's not even to mention, and we wonder why won't David Stearns go out and spend the money on pitching? Why didn't he go out and try to get Corbin Burns?
He doesn't need to.
Look at the minor leagues right now. Look at the top prospects the Mets have. Brendan Sproat, Blade Tidwell, Noel McLean, Jonah Tong. Like, they have the potential to have a full homegrown rotation. Like, that's why they're not spending any money on the rotation.
Yeah.
Or giving long contracts to them, because they're developing pitching. And guess what? This team's going to make moves at the deadline as well. So, yeah, I have the Mets at 4. I look to move them up, though. I think that the Mets right now are 29-20 as we speak. They're playing right now. It's 1-0 Mets in the top of the third against Boston. Nice. As we talk, they've yet to play their best baseball this year, and I am fully convinced on that. I have them at 4.
All right, we'll go up to the top 3, and I have the LA Dodgers. Yes, woohoo! The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. I don't really think we need to elaborate on them a lot, just because we know about this team. Although they have a carousel of pitching and it's still working.
Yep.
I've had so many injuries and it's still just they're pulling pitchers out of their ass.
Yes.
And they're winning.
Yep.
This is a Dodgers team that just will never die. I have them at number 3.
Well, I'll talk about them next. Next one there. But for me, I have the Cubs at 3. I think the Cubs are a top 3 team in baseball. Mainly, why? How about their offense? Granted, there is a huge hole that the Chicago Cubs have, and I think they absolutely will go out and get reinforcements when it comes to the bullpen, because that team has just not been good bullpen wise, and that's fine. But when you are number 1 in baseball, 5.86 runs per game, when you're number 5 in batting average, number 4 in OPS, number 3 in home runs, you're going to mash. And we say their pitching's bad. They're pitching 16th in baseball, 3.9 runs per game. They're giving up.
Yeah.
17th in WHIP, 14th in quality starts.
Consistent enough.
They're consistent. They're good enough. And for me, that makes them a top 3 team in baseball for me. So I have the Cubs at 3.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. Number 2, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. And I know you have the Dodgers. Phillies currently the second best team in baseball record-wise. They're number 1 in the National League East. After getting swept by the Mets, they've been on fire. Granted, I don't really think they played all that much since getting swept by the Mets. Let's take a look. Since getting swept by the Mets, they beat the Cubs. Good win there. They won 2 out of 3. Won the series versus Washington. Won the series versus Arizona, swept Tampa Bay, won the series versus Cleveland, lost the series to St. Louis. Granted, there was a doubleheader in there.
St. Louis has been really good in doubleheaders this year.
They swept Pittsburgh, and they're going to end up sweeping most likely Colorado. They have 2 more games in Colorado. And then they get the Angels. So they've got, not the Angels, the Athletics. So they have a easy schedule. But they're winning those games. They're winning those series. They're doing what they need to do. This is a Phillies team that's winning enough right now. I have them at number 2, which I have no problem dropping them if they prove me wrong.
I have the Dodgers at 2. And for me, this one, they are half game worse than the Phillies for the number 1 record in the National League. So that's where they currently stand. The Cubs, by the way, they're 30-20 compared to 30-18 for the Phillies. They both have 30 wins. The Mets hopefully will have their 30th after tonight. hopefully. Let's take a look at what this Dodgers team real quick. On the IL for them, pitchers-wise. Tyler Glasnow, Kyle Hurt, River Ryan, Roki Sasaki, Emmett Sheehan, Blake Snell, Gavin Stone. Brusdar Graterol, Michael Grove, Eduardo Henriquez, Michael Kopech, Evan Phillips, Blake Trinan, Kirby Yates.
I saw Kirby Yates leave the game the other day.
And there's still a half game out for the best record in the National League.
Yep.
With the rotation, Yamamoto, stud, one of the best pitchers of baseball this year.
Cy Young favorite.
Yeah. Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin, Lennon Knack. And that's not including if they want to go the combination. I think instead of Lennon Knack, it should be the combination that they've done a couple times. Jack Dreyer to Ben Kasperius as like an opener, long relief type of thing. They've done that a few times and it's done pretty well as well. So the Dodgers, now if there wasn't a team that's 3 games better than them, which we'll talk about in a second, the Dodgers would be the number 1 team in the baseball for me. So because they're still putting up these amazing numbers, they're still winning games with all of these injuries.
Yep, and as you mentioned, they kind of forced our hand. Our number 1 team is the Detroit Tiger. They are 33-17 this year. It's the first time that they're through 50 games they have the best record in baseball since 2006.
They made the World Series.
They made the World Series that year.
We
missed out on a Detroit Mets World Series because of a team called the St. Louis Cardinals. But this is a Detroit Tigers team that's number 1 in baseball. They're 2 games up on the Phillies, 2.5 games up on the Dodgers, 3 games up on the Cubs, 3.5 on the Mets and the Yankees. They have put in everything, and I know we were very low on them, saying they were going to miss the playoffs, under wins. I also was not expecting Casey Mize to come back and pitch amazing, and Torkelson to actually play well. A guy that went down to AAA to end last year, he is now absolutely smacking the ball. Detroit Tigers are currently the best team in baseball.
I mean, Torque has a 363 on base percentage and a 532 slug. He's been awesome this year.
Awesome.
McKinstry's come out of nowhere as well. He is somebody offensively that's been great. Tariq Skubal is still Tariq Skubal. I mean, he has a 2.87 ERA. I think the best is still yet to come for him.
Which is crazy because his stats are insane.
Jackson Jobe, I think, could still be decent. He's not been the greatest. He's 4-0, but a 4.12 ERA. Yeah. I think he could be better. Flaherty's been fine. Mize has been a revelation for them, rejuvenation. And that bullpen's still been good. They forced our hands on this one because, I mean, I didn't plan on having the Tigers number 1. I had planned on having the Dodgers number 1.
I was looking at the Phillies number 1, but then I'm like, Tigers have to be in there.
Yeah, and for me, the Tigers forced my hand because they're 33-17. They're multiple games better than the next best team.
But to be fair, we can come back next week and they could be 5th.
Oh, absolutely. They can drop
very quickly.
And I think at the end of the year, though, now they're number 1 right now for me. I have a feeling at the end of the year they're going to be probably more towards 7 to 10 range. I think that's where they'll end up settling. I don't think the Detroit Tigers are going to be the best team in baseball all year long. That's not going to happen.
No.
But right now they are. And we got to acknowledge that. We got to give them their props, give them their flowers. They're the best team in baseball right now. They're number 1 on my power rankings.
There you go. That's the video, Nick. Go ahead and finish out your first video.
Yeah. If you guys haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on push notifications. We'll hopefully be trying to come out with at least 2 videos a week, maybe 3, probably more when it comes to pitchers making debuts. I'll give you the breakdowns on the pitchers.
Not even just pitchers, like big players being called up to the big leagues in general.
Oh yeah, prospect reports, stuff like that. I want to dive into minor league baseball as well. That's been a lot of fun to do.
Not to mention, we'll have some type of show for regionals that we'll talk about.
We'll talk some college baseball too.
So college baseball as well.
This is all things baseball. This channel. So that is it for this one. Thank you guys as always for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.